This is the New Left. My name's Etienne Bowie. This time we're going to talk a little bit about what is the New Left and what is really our goal. Our goal is to change the conversation in dealing with leftist politics, how people view leftist politics in general. And that's from socialism to, moderate leftism. And then that dives also into liberalism and conservatism. And then economic liberalism and basically isolationism. These are like totally two different things. People always confuse all these things together. So first of all, let's dive a little bit into the leftist philosophy. First of all, in general, the leftist philosophy will always be about collectivism. That means working together. Society, libertarian individualism versus economic individualism. We are libertarian liberalism. All right. And then you call social. And then what also you have is economic liberalism or freedom. We believe in a mix of all those things. In the modern day, we now perceive leftism as a kind of authoritarian idea. This is incorrect. You can always have an authoritarian or a libertarian. What that means is authoritarians tend to believe everything must be solved by using the government. Libertarians believe that, and I'm not talking about libertarian as in a libertarian political party. That's totally different. They have a bunch of things. They just taken that name libertarian as in liberty for themselves. I'm not talking about them. Sorry. Let me make that clear. I'm talking about the idea of liberty. People who either side with individual liberty over government authoritarian practices. That's what I'm talking about. Left libertarian is more like Noam Chomsky. This idea that we believe that the government should always respect individual rights over the rights of wealth or the rights of a group of individuals more seen as an oligarchy or a monarchy, right? That's what we're really up against. So we still continue those ideas of equality, justice, freedom, liberty, meaning individual thought and individual right. That's what liberty is. Freedom is basically you cannot be controlled by one person utilizing a number of different tactics, right? Coercion. And then we also believe in what is that? Equality. Now, equality. This is a big topic, I think, recently, right? Because people keep saying we want the equality of outcome, right? But what we really want is the equality of opportunity. In some places, we do want equality for outcome too. That's not true, right? Like, for example, environmental. We want equality of outcome, right? We want everybody to get the same environmental outcome as anybody else, no matter where you are in the world. We have to make that actually clear. We support the idea of basically equality of outcome when it comes to things like environmental and actual things like pollution. Why? Because it shouldn't matter where you are or what opportunities you were given. Everybody should receive the same outcome when it comes to the environment. Should not even be argued. Now, where we argue of where the difference between economic or outcome versus basically opportunity is things like the day-to-day economy, where you get your job, where you buy certain things, where you sell certain things. That should always come down to the opportunity, right? You want the opportunity to be able to sell or buy what you want, where you want. And that should not be controlled by the government. It should be controlled by individual choice and how individuals perceive certain things, right? And if we have a problem with the perception. We need to do a better job of communicating with one another, having difficult conversations that will lead to better outcomes. You cannot use government coercion or government force to make people choose the outcome you want. We've tried that in the past. It does not work. And first of all, me just personally, I'm against that. I don't believe the government should force individuals to be or think a certain way under no circumstances, because it always depends on who's in control of the government at the time, who will basically push their agenda or their views on the minority who might not agree with them. That's basically mob rule. We don't want that. Okay? And that's what I'm seeing a little bit with what they call the SJWs, or the social justice warriors. We support the social justice warriors, but you guys need to actually clean up your tactics a little bit, because if your tactics is not helping the long-term goal, which is equality, justice, and the overall view of leftist philosophy and politics, then you aren't helping us, because you're making more people afraid of our ideas, because they feel like they're going to be a target of our philosophy. That's not good. We don't want that. We want to be seen as the ones with the actual vision that's good for people, that will help their lives, that will improve the way they live, and that will provide more for them. That's what we want. We don't want to fall for the tricks that basically the Republicans and basically a lot of people on the far right are playing. Second, we need to look at this victimization. This goes into the argument about outcome and opportunity. Every victim should have the opportunity to say their problem, to talk about what happened to them. But every person does not deserve the same outcome, right? We have to look at a case-on-case basis to see, oh, okay, is this true or not? Now, what outcome do we want everybody to have exactly the same? We want everybody to be heard, and we want everybody's case to go through the actual courts. So that's a perfect example of where we want equality in outcome. We want everybody to have a case. We want everybody, if they say, hey, I have a problem, and they want to argue that problem, that they can go to court and they can be heard. We want that. But does that mean everybody's case will end up the same? No, that is not what we want. You have an equal opportunity to go fight your case. You have the equal opportunity to get a good justice from a defendant for your justice case, right? For your court case. But you do not get the equal outcome as every person that goes in victimization. This fight that everybody wants to be a victim. Everybody wants to be the person that was abused by the police or feel like they was abused by the police. Everybody wants to be the person that was abused sexually. Everybody wants to be the person that had a hate crime. All that does is hurt people who actually experience these things every day. So us on the left, especially us, the new left, the young people, the future of our society, we need to do a better job of really criticizing people who coming out and saying that they are a victim. And we need to honor those who are victims, right? So those who tell us they actually have a problem, we need to go find them and help them with their problem. And we need to scrutinize and criticize to make sure that this is really real. And whenever we see someone else lying about that, we need to really be on top of them, like Jesse Smollett. We need to show, hey, we all condemn his behavior. Clearly. No confusion. And then we have people like Ilhan Omar, where we need to support her. Why? Because she having the false accusations against her for being an anti-Semite. Now, the arguments that you might make about Jewish people versus the stereotypes are so like meshed together. It's the same thing as what you have with African Americans, right? If I say, wow, that guy right there, a black guy, he plays basketball really great. He's a great athlete. That can be perceived as a racist. Why? Because it's a lot of stereotypes against African Americans that we're great at sports and we're great athletes. But at the same time, I can say, look at that Jewish person. Wow, he's really good with money. He's really good at business. Oh, that's a stereotype too, isn't it? Right? So we have to be smarter. And that's including Omar. She has to be smarter going forward. She has to openly say, you know what? I apologize for any comments that I may have made that were actually seen as anti-Semitic. I was very ignorant. I was ignorant. It's clear to say that. I didn't know what I was talking about, and I didn't even realize. And I'm going to bring in some Jewish people from the community, right and left, to come and educate me on that. And look at all my actual statements that I made on Twitter or in just talking. I'm going to have them criticize all those statements and then get back to me and tell me what exact things that I said that was ignorant. Show people that, hey, I'm really interested in being educated on these type of things. It's okay to be ignorant, but the thing we have to see is the change. Like what we saw with the guy Northrop, the governor in Virginia. He has to show more that he's willing to be educated. So the first thing he should have said is, I'm inviting black people from NAACP, Black Lives Matter. I'm about to bring all them over here. People from those communities, from the Urban League. I'm about to bring all them in there, in the Rainbow Coalition. I want to hear what they say. They can educate me on all these things and how I can do a better job of making sure these things don't happen in the future. We have to start looking at this stuff in like gray, not in black and white. We have to start getting mature about these topics. Because the more we get the black and white and we act so ignorant about topics and we just get on the sides, the more it helps the people or the defectors and all of the troublemakers, the people who have left and right now, who have no interest in actually improving things. They actually want to see chaos. Why? Because it's about their careers. It's because somebody else above them told them create chaos. They just gonna do it because they want to make more money. So either you're gonna help them out or you're gonna help out everybody else who cares about furthering an agenda and progressing society. That's left and right. It's people on both sides who just want to have a better life every day and get up. They don't care about, oh, this is our side, this is our side. They still Republicans. They probably gonna be a Republican all their life. And I'm a Democrat. I'm probably gonna be a Democrat all my life. But that means I hate people on the right, or I hate people who are Republicans. I don't hate anybody. What I hate is the actual politics, and I hate the policies being created that hurt people. That's my goal. That's my view. It's not to hurt people. That's important. That's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to get our mindset. The next phase that we really need to talk about, we need to focus on, is socialism versus capitalism, right? That's bull crap. Okay. Then in reality, you have socialism over here and you have capitalism over here. That is not in reality. Capitalism is more of a science. If you go look at your books, please go read your books. A lot of the people from Adam Smith, David Ricardo, John Stuart Mills, they were socialists. They say some of this stuff openly. Why? Because they view capitalism as an economic view, an economic philosophy. Like, how do we decide how much we pay another person? They use capitalism to express that and understand that. We don't call it biologyism, right? That for some reason we call it capitalism, as if it's a philosophy rather than it's a science. Capitalism is a science of trying to understand what the values of stuff and how you pay somebody else back for what they actually attributed to the economy or to a widget, which is just another way to say an economic doodad, an economic good, a widget. Facebook is a widget. Facebook chat is a widget. Google is a widget, all right? So some of y'all don't understand economics. We'll know that now. So understand, socialism is a philosophy. It's an economic philosophy. Different from capitalism, because socialism doesn't explain to you what is the price of something. Socialism doesn't explain to you basically what is the nature of labor versus the nature of production. Socialism doesn't explain to you basically how capital markets and free markets work. Socialism is a critique of our capitalist system, which is taking over humanity. And capitalism goes way before 1700s, though. Capitalism is very old. It's the idea that an individual can have private ownership, and through that private ownership, other people could sell their private good, which is their labor, or whatever materials they own. The question is, what socialists like Marx brought up is, where does that end? Where does the private end, and where does the actual public begin? Public good, the commonwealth. Where does that begin, and where does the individual wealth begin? That's the real question that the socialists ask. And what makes you a socialist versus, I wouldn't even say a capitalist. That's a wrong critique. The question you should ask is, what makes you a socialist versus something more like, let's say, economic individualist. That's be a better term for it. Where you perceive that individually you could do anything you want economically, and it don't matter about the next person, right? It doesn't matter about what value they bring into the scene, into the actual business, into the actual market. Many philosophers from economics will argue to you in the past that it is highly important that we have an educated society to have a strong capitalist open market. And they also will argue to you, when you have really big corporations, really big institutions that control everything, and you don't have that much mix and competition at the bottom, breaking up things and having a lot of people involved, then you will not have an open market. You will have an oligarchy. You will have a mercantile system. You will have a feudal system. Now, those are real economic systems. Why? Because a feudal system can say, hey, this person can only trade and do these certain things because they are nobles, or they monarchs, or they related to the king in some way. They knights or something like that. A mercantile system say, hey, only these few people can trade because the king or whoever in power said they could trade. That's what you're seeing today, right? Or more of a neo-mercantile system, a neo-feudalist system where people are selected, not based on basically because they related to the king because blood, is more based on because certain wealth they might have or privileges that they might have because they know certain people, really similar to a feudal system. So again, if you're a socialist, all you saying is, I believe at the level of production, right? So let's think about if you're making a pizza, at the level where that pizza is produced, that person producing it, the person making the pizza, not the owner of the company, they need to have a better communication. The producer, the worker, and the capitalist, the investor, the manager, need to have a conversation right here to decide who takes away the profits, or what we call the economic value. That's where the discussion need to happen. And us socialists believe the producers, the workers, deserve a little bit more piece of that pie than to who? The capitalist, the manager, the owner. It's that simple, dude. It's that simple. Don't get it confused any other way. We help the social, the society, the people, the public, the worker, the majority of workers over the small group of managers and owners. Capitalists. That simple. And then we need to move in the last phase, really, right? The last, not really the phase, the last understanding, right? The last pillar of the leftist philosophy. First, we talked about the idea between basically leftists and rightists in basically our political philosophies. Then we moved into the economic philosophy, socialist and capitalist, which we totally destroyed that whole thing, right? And that is not really political, right? Then we moved to the last phase, which is social philosophy, which is social liberalism. And then you have over here, which is more of a controlled authoritarian view of your social views, right? classic type view of a traditional view, right? Conservative, if you would. A social liberal view basically mean, very simple, listen, you believe that people get to choose what they want to be and how they want to be seen in society. If you want to be gay, if you want to say I'm black, or if I'm white, which don't really exist, it's things we create, right? It's just choice. There is no such thing as gay or straight. It's just a human being. You can go between both if you want to. You can be neither. So that's the reality, right? These are just human beings in general that makes decisions in the world. Now, social liberals believe that it's okay to have social change. It's acceptable for people in change to go ahead. Does that break into a libertarian authoritarian? Yes. It depends if you believe that social change should happen because we just promote it and it just happens and no one tries to stop it. Or do you believe it has to be enforced through the government and they have to put rules and laws to make it happen? On the other side, you also have social conservatism, right? Where they believe in tradition and all those type of things and things shouldn't change. Now, can it be done libertarian or can it be done through authoritarian? Of course, right? But does it have to be religious? No, right? That's where you get the Nazis, right? They thought it was through cultural and race. Some people think it's through religion, and then we've seen societies like that too. Like we see modern day Israel is controlled by right-wing religion, and it affects a lot of their policies regarding Palestine, right? Because it's a religious fervor. That's what the Zionists come from. And if you are basically a leftist, you cannot be a Zionist because you're not secular. If you believe in Zionism, you're saying, I don't believe in secularism. I believe that people should be chosen by a religion. Land should be chosen through a religion. That is nonsense. You are a right-winger then, trying to fake. You are a socially liberal right-winger. That's all you are. And you're authoritarian too, because you think it should be done by force. So, okay. I think I broke it down a lot right there. I'm just going to tell you some things that we're working on, and then we're going to finish up. So, like I told you before, we're working on the website. So if you're interested, if you like take photographs or you do graphic design, you can help out with the website. Go ahead and shoot me a comment at the bottom, or you can also just message me through YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter, depending on where you're finding this. And you can say, hey, I'm interested in helping with the website stuff, and I would like to do more. Now, if you're interested in putting together more content like what I'm doing, and I can help you with basically producing that content, then you can also shoot me a comment or shoot me a message. And we can talk about that. And I can help you out. Again, remember that this is a cooperative, a co-op. Meaning that whatever you put in, you get out of it. There is not a top-heavy system. It is a horizontal system, not a vertical system. Meaning you have more opportunity to affect what's going on in the overall organization. And if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see we have two New Left or NNL groups. One for the editorial board. That's if you're interested in this type of stories we're putting out, the material, you can be there. And then it's one for the Planning and Resource Committee. And that's where for people who want the structure of the organization, how everything works. That's where you get to go right there. And I'll put the quotations because it's more than just the structure. It's a lot of stuff. It's simple to just say the structure. So again, thank you very much for your time. Remember to follow us, like us, share our material, vote our material up if it's on Reddit. And again, thank you very much. And you have a great week.